Gruesome Magazine.
Hello once again, and welcome to Gruesome Magazine, where we review the release and streaming and video on-demand horror movies. Each week, my co-hosts Jeff Mohr, Crystal Cleveland, Dave Dreher, Christopher G. Mohr, and myself will take a look at various spooky, scary, and gory genre offerings. Tonight, we are reviewing DISQUIET. There's a name for you. I am Doc Rotten. Let me introduce my crew, starting off with the one and only Jeff Mohr. Jeff Mohr, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
How you doing?
How you doing? Also joining us, Crystal Cleveland, the Living Dead Girl. How you doing?
Hi, I'm doing good. How you doing? I didn't. That wasn't good. Christopher will do it better.
We can go with it. We can go with it. All right. Also joining us is award-winning filmmaker Christopher G. Mohr.
To quote an actor in this film,
oh no,
ass, nose, lips. I only have tits to go.
Oh yes, yes.
And there's the.
Oh yes. That is the line.
That's the dialogue you can look forward to.
It is a line
in this film.
This quiet dialogue. All right. There's a little taste of what you're in for tonight. What we're going to do is we're going to give you our first impression of this movie. That will be spoiler free, and then we'll dive into a discussion. We will get into spoilers at that point, and then we will end things up with our score, a 1 to 5, and our favorite scene.
Yep.
And of course, we hope you enjoy not only this review, but many others that we have on the site. And if you do, please hit the like, subscribe, share with a friend buttons. And each click will help us find more horror fans just like you. And we'd love to hear your comments as well.
And he'll say buttons. Like that.
Buttons.
Anytime somebody subscribes.
Buttons.
I don't even know how I said it. I don't know if I can repeat it. All right. Let's take a look at the card. DISQUIET 2023 Paramount. Available in select theaters, digital, and on demand starting February 10th, 2023. Synopsis: after a near fatal car accident, Sam wakes to discover he is trapped in an abandoned hospital by mysterious and sinister forces that have no intention of letting him leave. Written and directed by Michael Winnick. The cast includes Jonathan Rhys Meyers, Rachel Golding, Elise Levesque. Oh my goodness, Levesque. How do you do that? Somebody help me. Lachlan Monroe, Tressa Mohr, Gary. Oh my God, I can't do this. And Anita Brown. I can do Anita Brown. Oh my God.
That was the worst.
I bumbled that like a bumbler.
Your pronunciations were just as haunted as that hospital.
Doc, it's so good though. It brings me so much joy to hear you mispronounce a name. I just want you to know that.
If everybody was just named Jane Doe and John Smith.
It'd be so easy.
I'd still find.
He would still find a way to make it entertaining.
He'd say do instead of doe.
Jane Doe.
Doe.
Yeah.
Sorry, Doc.
In my head, it's right, and in my mouth, it just comes out wrong.
It's okay.
Yeah, understood.
It's like English spaghetti.
It's endearing, truly.
No, it's sad. All right, let's get into our first impressions. And Chris, first.
Yay! Oh, goody! I'm so excited.
Yes, you should be.
Okay, so I'm very confused because I love Jonathan Rhys Meyers. I think he is such a phenomenal actor. And me personally, I feel like he did an excellent job in this movie. This movie's kind of odd, though. I don't want to. We're not spoilering. Okay,
no spoilers. Not yet.
No spoilers. God, then spoilers are. It's kind of a big spoiler, but okay. So the scares in this, the ghosts. We can say okay. The ghosts or whatever are a little laughable. I mean, I get it. Like I saw some. I kind of thought there's these group of girls, and I wasn't sure if it was like more like 13 ghosts mixed with the Silent Hill nurses. I thought they were trying to mash them together, and it was not good. Like I was like, why would they do this? there really wasn't anything scary about this. They had some touchy subject matter, which was really very sad, but the way it was done was really odd and to no resolution. I mean, I'm worried about this one character that they never told you what happened to him. He's probably the one I cared about the most, if I'm being honest with you, because he was wronged completely. I think it was shot okay until they brought in these weird and odd purple lights. Yeah, and I know Dave usually picks on the lighting and stuff, but I think that he would have. I think he would be absolutely correct in this. When those purple lights came on, I was like, why? No, it didn't fit. It didn't flow. It didn't feel right. You can do that in a way that does, but it didn't in this film. The story is odd. I like the basic concept of it a lot, actually. Okay, so I like the core of what it is, and I'm sure we'll talk about it and explore this. But beyond that, the way it's executed and the way people talk to each other is very weird. And then you should be close on camera and it makes you look like, but they're literally like this, like they're talking like this. And I'm like, I felt so uncomfortable. Like they don't know each other. These people are supposed to be strangers. And it was like that. And I was like, Jesus, like that made me feel super uncomfortable. And I know that's a weird thing, but it was weird. It was odd and weird. And they're actually closer than it actually looks on film. So it's a very weird thing. I wasn't bored though. I mean, there was always something to watch on the screen and there was something happening and something weird going down. So that's something. But I did find myself not caring enough about what happens. And at the end, yeah. So
I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's interesting. Let's see how this goes. Jeff, what was your first impression of Disquiet?
Where do I start? Okay, so I was bored.
Oh, okay, that's one.
And it was within I swear, within 2 minutes of the start of the movie, you knew almost exactly what was going on. And I had to wait an hour and a half to find out where we were going. And the sound design just absolutely drove me nuts. If you're in an apartment or something, because it's one of those movies where I had to keep turning the volume up and down all the time. So I wouldn't disturb other people. I had to turn it up so I could hear the dialogue. Then I had to turn it down because there's these blaring sounds, and then the three women that were screaming, whatever they were screaming. And I just literally, I might give them 5 minutes into it. You knew where it was going because, and the rest of the time, I'm just waiting. Yeah. I'm just waiting for something to happen. You know, the story kept changing. Yeah, didn't like it. Sorry, guys. I have no problem with. We've discussed this a little bit off camera. I have no problem with Jonathan Rhys-Meyers' attempts here. Because
I love it.
Well, I mean, with this story, it's a bit of a chore, and I think he was all in on it. So I'm okay with what he did.
He was committed, that's for sure. All right, Christopher G. Mohr. Oh man, Disquiet. Your first impression? What is it?
This is the funniest comedy I've seen in a while. Because it's such a bad movie. First of all, I don't know what Jonathan, whatever his name is, Rhys-Meyers. I don't know. The only thing he's trying to attempt, it's almost like he combined a soap opera with Steven Seagal, because he goes around like, we need to get out of here. And he to quote him, quote a line he said several times. It's like, you got to be effing kidding me. And it's like, we need to get out of here. There's smoke in there. There's fire in there, but it's not. All it is just lights. You don't even see. They don't even have the money to make an actual fire happen. They just show fire lights, and the dialogue is just ridiculous. There's this is not spoilery because it's so stupid, but he's like, "Are you a cop?" And he's wearing a police shirt.
Yes.
He's wearing a I felt, am I watching Airplane? I was like, and then like the 13 Ghosts softcore scene shows up, and I'm like, am I watching? Maybe this is my kind of movie. If this is could turn into like a softcore Cinemax film, but then they just felt like they were wearing costumes from like Spirit of Halloween or something, because they didn't seem. And even their stitches just seemed like stitches you could buy from a Halloween store. This film is, but I literally laughed out loud so many times. The movie is ridiculous. Like Jeff says, it's very obvious where it's going. But then they draw it out. Even the very ending, they just draw it out. Okay, dude, go. Just go. So like this movie can end. Yeah. And they even it even begins in the laziest way possible with like narration. Where I was going on this. It's like, why are you talking like Batman? Stop it. I don't know. I don't know what they were trying to attempt here, but the dialogue is just bonkers level. And it's almost like he's trying to like be dramatic, but in the most funniest way possible. So I don't know what they were trying to attempt. Some of the choreography is horrible. They even try to be all artsy, and normally I like cool shots where they have like a twist, turn the camera, but it looks bad. Yeah. There's even a lot of shaky camera stuff that doesn't make sense. They even reverse a shot that they showed earlier where the girl is taking bandages off later. They reverse it so they could show her putting the bandage on. It's the very same shot.
Really? I didn't even. Right. Oh, wow.
It's lazy filmmaking. It's like, oh, we forgot to get that shot, so let's just reverse it. Nobody will catch it. Yeah, it's and there's a lot of flashbacks that just like it's very frenetic, but not in a good way. Going back and forth, and then it's like, and then it also almost became I don't think anyway. It almost became uncomfortable because there's one character that gets killed a few times, and it's like, do we need to keep seeing that? That's kind of, I'm not sure that's okay. So it's almost like somebody did a parody of like a Stephen King story, but with really goofy dialogue that feels like this is supposed to be like a scary movie parody or something, which is very appropriate because I think that one guy was in one of the scary movies. But anyway, this movie is almost like Mystery Science Theater 3000 funny, but not in a good way. It's a good movie to probably watch and drink every time somebody says goofy dialogue or something doesn't make sense, or just characters pop out of nowhere for no reason, or him going on the floor like just overacting, like every little thing. Even he can't even make it realistic that the elevator's shaking. He's like, there's so many flaws. There's even a character that you could see the seam of his bald cap with the fake hair on the sides. There's so many things wrong with this, but it was entertaining because it was just so goofy. Bonkers. That's all I can say.
You're not wrong. This movie is a disaster. It is, the dialogue is, it's like, what am I, it's so unnatural and so forced and so amped up for no good reason, right? It feels like this is like supposed to be like a superhero movie or something. The way they do their dialogue is like, and it's so, and the mystery is so kind of, it's both obvious and convoluted at the same time. It's because they make it convoluted. it's really pretty dead simple. It's, I don't know. Ironically, though, I was kind of like entertained throughout the entire movie, but not in the way I think they wanted me to be entertained. It's more like the way Christopher was being entertained. You know, it's just because it's so damn stupid, and so, and I like Jonathan Rhys Meyers quite a bit. I like Tudors. I like Dracula. I like things he's in. But he's not acting in the same movie everybody else is acting in. He's acting in an entirely different movie. And so are some of the other actors, like the guy in the wheelchair. I don't know what movie he's in. And then, you know, but then you've got these weird ghosty things that are running up and down the halls, and the logic behind them is a little sketchy. And you know, and they keep going up and down the elevator, and it's kind of like
a little sketchy.
Oh man, this is. I was like, this is the dumbest movie ever. It was like, this movie is. It just, I don't know. It's you almost have to see it to see how dumb it is.
I do, yeah, and there's even the moment where like they almost have that M. Night moment where we go flashback to these things and like, oh, these. And it doesn't make
where
any
they switch
sense.
the people out. Like,
it doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Yeah, we're getting into spoilers now.
When they switched the people, I didn't think that was necessary at all.
It didn't make any sense.
It didn't
mean because they were trying to the whole time. It was the fight of good and evil. Yeah, like, but it's still. That didn't matter. I don't think
it made it seem like at first I like, oh, are we in a virtual world? Maybe all this stuff didn't happen, you know. So it really wasn't needed. So you have all that stuff that doesn't make any sense. And let me just give you a moment, one of the many moments that made me laugh.
Okay.
There's a moment where the girl that went there and that she said the line, "The ass knows lips only have lips to go." She's like. He's like, let's go to the stairs. And he's like, but the elevator's this way. The homicidal coma man says otherwise.
I know. That was like, what the fuck is that?
He called him Coma Man. And I was like, do you really just call him Coma? I laughed so hard when he said that because it's like, he had to go on set. Memorize that line, deliver that line like that's a normal piece of dialogue that anybody would say, and it sounds ridiculous. And then he's delivering it like he's in some Die Hard movie or something. And he's got this gruff sort of, you know, low voice when he says stuff. You know, it just. Or there's like another part where she talks about like, the girl talks about the 3 girls that are from a softcore porn movie or something, and he's like, same thing happened to me without the them. It's like, really odd piece of dialogue that might fit in a Zucker Brothers parody or something that's meant to be a comedy or something that's meant to be a parody of horror films. So I'm not exactly sure what they were going for, but there's so many weird. There's so many off, and even like when he's fighting the old guy, the coma guy, the homicidal coma guy, the choreography is so bad. There's one part where he acts like he throws him, and you can literally see the guy jump on his own into the wall.
Yes.
And the way it's edited, it shows every bad piece of choreography. And again, I don't know if you guys noticed. Did you see the scene of his bald cap?
I didn't notice it. No,
I didn't notice it.
It's literally there's a line there, and then you can tell that his hair. That's not real hair. That's just white wig hair they bought from Spirit Howling.
Yeah. I just couldn't handle the. You know, you guys were talking about how they switched it up when they first showed like scenes of what really happened, like in the convenience store, or the bodega, or whatever. I liked that. I thought that was cool, but then. It just seemed to like arbitrarily change the character. So who the hell are we talking about? What's going on? And then the other one would show back up, and then this one would be there. And I'm just like, oh my God.
And what was the point of it? All these flashbacks, other than just giving information, how does that move the story forward at all? You know,
it didn't. I didn't get it. You know,
was there an arc to our characters? I'm trying to figure out if there was.
Well, what's odd about him is I feel like no, he didn't have an arc in this film. I think the arc was supposed to be what happened before he got into that wreck. Because you see, like, he apparently cheated, and then he's like, but I've changed, I'm going to be different, blah, blah, blah. But also, it's so weird. Like, when she hits on him, he's like, well, that might have been okay before, but I'm married, or whatever. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know. And it was very odd. It was the relationships and the dynamics between the characters were odd. Now, I get that when someone dies in that purgatory is essentially what it is. They're in like a purgatory.
But then they say it wasn't a purgatory.
It's totally because up is, but when they go up, do they actually go back into their bodies or not? Do we? Because it just seemed like he died to me. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy, but
They never really said for either of the two that get out.
No, the only arc is that if you're almost going to die, it allows you to text from the ether.
From the other world, yeah.
without a cell phone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which doesn't make
Which is
any
so
sense
weird.
whatsoever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I got mad at him. It's like he finally gets to that door and he just stands.
I know, he
like,
takes
You've
forever.
been fighting off people the whole time and you're standing there. There's so many moments where like,
woof.
you know, he gets out of the elevator one time and he goes down. It's like, it really felt like, I think there was soap opera actors like, man, he's overacting. It's really.
Aww.
Yeah,
I still think
it
he's
his all,
good,
but it's like it made Leslie Nielsen seem like he was Shakespearean.
I just don't think he was. I mean, he's acting fine and he's consistent. He's just not in the same movie as everybody else, and it just feels so different.
I think that's
Well, everybody's in their movie, and I agree with you.
Well, that might be true.
There's that one part with the doctor, and he. They're like,
I'm like, well, yes, you know what?
We need to get out of here.
Yes.
I was like, you need to get out of my face.
Yes, you saw that too. I was like, ugh! Like that actually messed me up. Like I was petrified because the idea of someone being that close to my face is a nightmare to me.
I was like, is it because they're trying to get people in the frame together? I don't know what's going on here. It's like he barely, and I don't know about you guys. I got a little bit confused because she looked a little bit similar to his wife.
Me too.
Like,
yeah.
Is his wife a doctor?
Mm-hmm.
Well, wasn't all three of them kind of look similar? The wife,
a little bit,
but the doctor looked very similar, and I was like, wait a minute, is his wife a doctor? But then they had the little flashback that I didn't really care about. It's like, oh wait a minute, no, that's. And so then I got all confused.
Then she would oddly show up during the middle of everything.
Yeah.
And the only real, well, I guess we do get like the visual effect of a severed head, but the only real special effect is like, let me put on a monster hand.
That was so weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like musical chair characters. You know,
it was musical chair characters. Yeah.
Didn't know what was going on.
They weren't. I don't know. Were they consistent? They didn't feel consistent.
No, like the orderly guy didn't really like. What was? I don't understand because characters just pop up and then they would sort of go against what they were saying, and then
I get that what it is like every time they would die, they get that much.
They come back worse. Yeah, I get that part. Right. Yeah, that's why they just keep getting seemingly stuck. But wouldn't they be drawn to the downstairs too? I mean, wouldn't she just take them to the downstairs or something? I don't understand because she's like what, Lilith or something.
Something like that.
She's like, but don't call me Lilith.
I kept thinking it was like maybe God and the devil type thing.
Yeah, that's kind of.
Good.
But then I don't know about you guys. I felt a little bit uncomfortable him killing the black.
That's what I was talking about. That's exactly. No, what bothered me is we didn't even get him resolved, and that made me really upset.
Then when he pops up again. We get to see him kill him again.
I know.
Dude, it was already uncomfortable
the first time
because of the whole racism, and then like two different characters are being racist towards him.
Yeah,
so it's like
they're stuck in a loop. Yeah, they mentioned very briefly that the other characters, other than the guy and the little girl, are kind of stuck and they're lost. They're not going to come. They're not going to get out. And these two are the only ones that have the opportunity to get out. So They say that, and that's it.
But then every time the Jonathan guy is trying to escape, he's like, "No, I need to get this person." It's like, stop, Batman! Stop trying to save everybody. Just get your ass out of there.
Then the elevator goes forever and just goes up like one floor. I don't know.
Well, they kept using the same thing,
shots.
so I was like, "Are you going up or down?" Because they kept using the same shot every time. It's like we have this stock footage of the elevator, but it's not really going in the same direction you're going.
Yeah.
I think they were trying to make us really like his character, like really make us think his character is a good guy by him constantly trying to,
I just saw him as an idiot.
But it just didn't translate for me. But
because the other stuff they're trying to get us disoriented, with what up is down and down is up and all that kind of stuff. But it's just so laughably bad. Oh my god! All right, let's go ahead and wrap this up. I think we're just repeating ourselves. Let's
like the movie.
Yeah.
Let's give a score 1 to 5 and our favorite scene. And yes, Crystal, you are first.
Okay.
Waka waka.
So, I'm gonna give this a 2.5.
Ah, generous.
Yeah. Well, it's competently made, and Jonathan Rhys Meyers. Sorry, I thought he was good.
Okay, no, that's fine.
He's good. I'm biased. And my favorite scene is okay. So this did kind of and it shouldn't have made me jump, but it did, and it's actually the car wreck when it actually hits.
Oh yeah, when
like I knew that was coming, but it still shocked me. So yeah, I don't know. It's what jarred me the most about it. So
jarring. It was jarring.
It was jarring.
All right, very good, Jeff. You're on mute, but tell us your score 1 to 5 and your favorite scene. You're on mute. He's not knowing.
Oh wait, you're on mute. You're on mute.
Everybody's unmuted.
You're disquiet.
You're disquiet. Yep.
I was disquieted. There was a strange woman walking around in here that turned out to be my wife.
Is she trapped there?
Yeah.
She's trapped.
She was up with my brother. Anyway, 1.75. 1.75.
1.75.
Okay. And my God, a favorite scene.
Come on, you can pick
maybe
something.
A favorite scene. I'll say the first time they show what happened in the convenience store.
Okay.
I thought that was. I like stuff like that where different people have different perspectives, and but then like the second, third, and I don't know how many times they showed that. Anyway, but yeah, the first time.
The first time, not the second time, not the third time, not the fourth time, but the first time. All right, I got you. Christopher G. Mohr, what is your score 1 to 5 in your favorite scene?
Oh, and by the way, if you just are in a car crash, I just love that the paramedics just sit there and stare at you and like, can you hold your arm out? It's like,
I know.
What? Emergency people do that. Anyway, that's the ridiculousness of this whole film.
Well, which emergency person?
Well, the cop's like, well, the
first one
dead.
Or the woman or the.
Well, I don't know. I don't know at this point. I don't know who's what. Up is down, left is right. Crazy softcore girls, or I don't know. Anyway, I'll give this a 2.
Okay, that's good.
Mainly because this movie entertained me, but because it was so bad.
Yeah. Okay.
And so at least the badness was entertaining. And and again, I'm going to have to pick the scene that I said the line from. I think the part where it's like, but the elevator's this way. The homicidal coma man says otherwise. I was like, as someone that makes films, everybody had to pre-production read through it. Maybe they even a table read, and they had to do that seriously, like that would be something somebody would say. So I don't know if they were really meaning for this to be humorous. If I was a filmmaker, I was like, yeah, I meant it that way. But I don't know. There's just so many wacky things. This film has characters from different movies and has different scenes from different movies. Like that whole scene with the softcore girls just feels from a different, like, I felt like it was like a old VHS '80s movie that was softcore or something, which is like
Weird.
I'd watch that, but
but for different reasons.
I did enjoy that. I was like, but it just felt out of place from everything else. This is just everything. I think all these elements were trapped in this movie we watched.
Yep, agreed. Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
yeah. So for me, I'm giving it a 2 as well. And oh my god, it's not my favorite scene, but it was my favorite running gag because I still don't know what they were trying to do with it. But they go like, well, it was right after that. Are you a policeman? And he's got, and he goes, have you looked outside yet?
Oh yeah.
And he goes over and he opens the window. It's dark, and they just randomly throughout the rest of the film they'll stop to take notice that they can open a curtain and see that it's still dark outside. And it was just like, what the fuck? Why isn't this more of a thing or less of a thing? It's just like it was in there just enough to make it like, why?
Mm-hmm.
The smoke in the stairwell, or that one hallway that had smoke and lights trying to be like it's fire.
Yeah, I mean, I finally, I was like, why are they talking about a fire? And I was like, but I finally get it with the grill. But it took a while for me to get that. And it's like,
there's smoke, Doc. There's smoke. We can't go there. There's
so
smoke.
What is this like? This is kind of like going on every day at this hospital. Every time there's a group of people come in, this is what the hospital has. These two idiots, one with the hand and one in the wheelchair, have to do this every day to a bunch of goobers. Oh my god.
Oh, y'all just keep making me feel worse and worse about this movie because I was like, ah, and I'm like, oh yeah, that was true. That's true too.
I was like wanting to text you guys like at 2 a.m. like, was it really this ridiculous? And
I would think you were dead if you texted me.
Oh my god! I was like, what is going on here? Because I watched this late after another movie, and I was like, and it didn't fall asleep, so it had kept me awake.
So it kept your attention. That's good.
I was like, what the fuck is this?
Well, I knew I wasn't supposed to laugh loud at scenes, and I was like, okay, this is gonna be interesting.
Oh, man. It's got to be the most ridiculous dialogue I've ever heard in a movie in a long time. But it's almost like cult qualifying. It almost could be a cult film.
It feels on that level of some of the, almost like The Room and those type of films where it's kind of so over the top ridiculous. What is
it quite bad enough though? Is it quite?
If I was lit on a Saturday night about midnight watching this, I'd have a good time in a group.
I think if you're drinking or on certain types of drugs, this would be very entertaining. This is a Mystery Science Theater film.
Oh yeah, okay.
I think watching with a group of people and everybody laughing, it could be very entertaining. Yes. But it's not
fair
scary.
Enough. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that's what they intended. That's the weird thing. But I guess that's
probably
not.
But
what happens with a cult movie, right?
Aren't those the best? Yeah.
Could this be a cult classic in 5 years?
No,
I wouldn't go that far. Let's disquiet that notion.
Disquiet.
All right. With that, let's get out of here. Jeff, Christopher, thank you for joining me. It's a lot of fun.
Thanks for having us. Yep.
You're welcome.
Shitting on this movie. So
you
good.
gotta be effing kidding me.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jonathan Rhys Meyers.
What was that guy's name again? Homicidal maniac guy?
Homicidal
coma.
Man.
Yeah.
Oh, homicidal coma guy. Yeah.
Homicidal coma guy.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, homicidal coma man says otherwise.
Let's get out of here. Let's say goodnight.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.